The blues I'll lay low, I'll make them stay low. They'll never tread over my head. I'll be a devil till I'm an angel, but until then I'm gonna live till I die. I'm gonna laugh instead of crying. I'm gonna take the town and turn it upside down. I'm gonna live until I die. They're gonna say, what a gal. I'm gonna play for the sky. Ain't gonna miss a thing. I'm gonna have my fling. I'm gonna live until I die. The blues I'll lay low, I'll make them stay low. They'll never trail over my head. I'll be a devil till I'm an angel, but until then, hallelujah, gonna dance, I'm gonna fly. I'll take a chance riding high. Until my number's up, I'm gonna fill my cup. I'm gonna live until I die. Hey fella, with a million smackers and nervous indigestion, rich fella, eat milk and crackers. I'll ask you one question, you silly so-and-so. With all your dough, are you having any fun? What you getting out of living? What good is what you got if you're not having any fun? Are you having any laughs, Ted? Are you getting any loving? If other people do, so can you have a little fun. After the honey's in the comb, little bees go out and play. Even the old gray mare down home has gotta have hay, gotta have a little fun. You ain't gonna live forever. Before you're old and gray, still okay, have your little fun, son. Have your little fun. The blues I'll lay low, I'll make them stay low. They'll never trail over my head. I'll be a devil till I'm an angel, but until then, hallelujah, gonna dance, I'm gonna fly. I'll take a chance riding high. Until my number's up, I'm gonna fill my cup. I'm gonna live until I die.
Happy Friday, everyone, and welcome to the latest edition of Richard Skipper Celebrates. Who or what are you celebrating today? I'm celebrating some amazing artists that are waiting in the wings, and we're going to be talking about their upcoming shows, and we're going to be discussing success today. What does success mean to you? Before I start, that was Susan Mack, who will be appearing at Birdland on Monday night. We're going to be talking more about that later, and I have my tickets. I cannot wait. I'm so excited. She won the Mack Award. For those of you who don't know, the Manhattan Association of Cabarets and Clubs, it used to be, Manhattan Association of Cabarets and Clubs for Outstanding Female Vocalist. And right there, you can see why. So if you're not doing anything Monday night, please join me. But what does success mean to you? The greatest definition I think that I ever heard of success is having enough money to do what you want to do, when you want to do it, where you want to do it, how you want to do it, without having to consult anyone else. And that works for me. But I'm not going to bring Susan on a little bit later, but I want to bring on a couple who are literally joined at the hip. They are always making incredible music together. And I want to let you all know that they have a couple of shows coming up. But they are going to be at Sid Gold's Request Room. Are you taking request?
No.
So don't ask for them to sing anything that you want to hear. They're going to sing their own material, which is superb. So hello, how are you two?
We're great, Richard.
Doing good.
Thank you. So you two, as I just said, are joined at the hip. You make music together. You're together practically 24/7. Yeah, how does that work in your relationship, both on stage and off stage?
Well, we're not together 24/7, Richard.
Well, I was told by your publicist that you are.
Oh my gosh.
Well, she would know.
Well,
that.
how would she? No,
Yeah, how would
I
she
think
know
that's
that?
a little exaggerated. No. We do things. We do work together. We write together, and we rehearse together when we're getting ready for a gig, or if we're getting ready to perform, or rather record. But otherwise, well, Robert has many other things that he does separate from me, and I as well. Go ahead, babe.
Well, yeah, we have a rhythm of we talk about things over the kitchen table like everybody does, and then eventually we start to form ideas about songs, and then we write things down. We go to the piano. We
write things down separately. We come back together.
Exactly.
It isn't all done, right together. But right. So that's our rhythm. So we start with an idea, and the idea becomes a song, and then sometimes that leads to other songs, and then in time,
all of those songs go onto a CD or
they become a recording,
and then those songs get, people say, curated, culled, whatever, put to fashion in a certain way into either a cabaret act or an off-Broadway show or some other form, or a series of videos,
right?
And we just develop things together.
Well, which came first, the relationship or the collaboration?
Oh, okay.
It was simultaneous.
It was. We were doing a show of other people's music. We were doing a review of Noel Coward and Cole Porter.
Oh, wow.
And I was a musical director. She was one of the singers in the show.
One of 6 singers.
Outstanding singer. And so we made this musical bond first. And we toured with the show. We went all over the country. Eventually, the show got picked up by different producers, and I went east, and I went to New York, and she went to LA. So then we were doing separate things. And then eventually we kind of went, wait a minute, hold on here. So I went out to LA, and we drove back in her Pinto across the desert back to New York. And
high noon. Yeah, we drove back across the desert. It was high noon.
I love it.
Little hot, stopped for gas, and
I remember my
flooded with sweat.
My shirt flew out the window. No AC. But so then we came back to New York, and then eventually we were here still working separately. I was doing off-Broadway shows. She was doing stuff.
Auditioning and doing some different reviews, off-Broadway stuff. And
eventually we said, well, the stuff that we're performing by other people, it's great, but doesn't really express our point of view. So then we just started to
write those things.
Write these things down.
Write the songs we wanted to hear, and the songs, for instance, that I wanted to sing, or what they were talking about, and the way they were talking about women. Yeah,
that's a big thing.
And I just had, and I think we had the desire to write anyway. Just after having done the Great American Songbook, and sung all the songs from all these great writers, it's inspiring. And you start to think,
what's the contemporary
take on that, because these were the things that were happening when they were writing these songs.
Mhm.
And so we could be bringing that to the table. We can say this is what's happening now, and it's inspired this song, right now, and it's happening now. It's contemporary.
That's great. We're going to bring our next guest on, or you're going to help me bring the next guest on.
Oh,
I'll
goody.
see in a moment. But before I do, since today we're talking about success, when both of you think about success when it comes to your art, what are the first 3 words that come to mind for you? Not basically what society considers. For example, there's some people who feel Broadway is the end all. And then I know so many, and I'm sure you do too, journeyman actors who make an incredible career at acting. Some of them do. And they've never stepped foot on a Broadway stage. So success means different people to different things for people.
Yeah.
What does it mean to you, both together and separately?
The words that come to my mind are, give yourself permission. That's the key, at least to what I view as a creative life. You have to give yourself the time, but basically the permission to try something new. I mean, there's Broadway. It's a great venue. There are other ways, including Broadway, to express yourself. I remember when I first came to New York, Richard, I was working in a dinner theater up in Elmsford, and I had a little Volkswagen, and I was driving actors back and forth. We're doing 8 shows a week, right? Back and forth. I remember hearing them say, like, they were from other parts of the country, and they would say, well, I'm going to give myself 6 months, or I'm going to give myself a year, or I'm going to say 2 years, and if I'm not, conforming to this idea of, maybe their idea or other people's idea of success, I'm out of here. I'm going to do something else. And my philosophy is that you have to give yourself permission to develop, and on your own terms, artistically. So that's the phrase that comes to mind.
3 words, I would say the thing itself. As long as I'm doing the thing itself, I sing, I write, I'm successful.
I love that. I love both of those answers. So Anya, I'm going to let you bring on our next guest.
Okay.
So you are truly in the Monty Hall seat today. So it's door number 1, door number 2, or door number 3.
1, 2, or 3, and I get to pick the door?
Pick.
Oh, I'm going to pick door number 1.
And that is Maureen Kelly.
What a surprise.
And Maureen also is going to be performing later this week on Thursday night at Chelsea. I like to call it Chelsea Tables and Chairs. But I will be there, and I'm so excited about that. Maureen, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much.
No, Robert, but you're meeting Anya for the first time today.
Right. I'm meeting Anya for the first time, but Robert and I I won't even tell you how many years ago, but we met at the Eugene O'Neill Theater Center in Connecticut many years ago when I was certainly first starting out. And I think Robert he was one of the wonderful musicians at this symposium, and it was really terrific.
Cabaret Symposium.
Yeah, it's a long time. It's wild.
Well, Maureen,
what a nice...
For those who are watching out there, you also are in a relationship with someone in the business.
Right.
I've always said that when my husband passes on, hopefully not for a long time, when he arrives in heaven, they're going to hand him a Purple Heart. Because living with anyone in this business is difficult. What is the secret, or what makes it work for both you and Tom?
Gosh. Well, we both started out as actors, struggling and starving actors. But Tom really made his career in broadcasting, and he was extremely lucky in that. And I really, my income producing career was in another area altogether. So that sort of helped it. My avocation always was music and the theater. But to earn a living, I used some of my talents elsewhere in advertising and marketing and sales. And so I think that probably, because we both had this shared common area, and love that, and still have tons of friends in the business and in the theater and in broadcasting and all of that. But I needed, I was just struggling and starving. There was no trust fund anyplace. There was me earning a living is what there was. So, and so I think that blend made it successful, I hope, and continues. We're now on year 41, so I think it's doing
Great.
okay.
Good for you.
So,
Well, I know that you've got this show coming up on Thursday night, and if I'm not mistaken, this is your first time doing a cabaret show in quite some time.
right.
What's
Well,
bringing you back now?
Well, it goes back to your question about success. When I was first starting out, and coming to New York and all of that, I had dreams of Broadway and television and, record deals and all those wonderful things. And then the reality set in is, I have to make a living and I have to find who I am. And oddly enough, through my other career, I gained, a lot of skills and a lot of chops that really helped me to survive. And when I think about success now, for me at this stage of the game, it's really, I guess, I don't know if I have 3 words for it, but I know that when people say that they felt something, they were touched, they had a feeling, they cried, they had a tear, they identified with it. That is all I'm after right now. Really, my only goal right now, I just like to sing for people. And I mean, I use that sing to people, not sing at people. And there's a big difference in how singers approach things these days. And so, my goal for this show is just if people identify with what I'm saying and feel changed in some way or feel different from the beginning to the end of the show, that is success for me.
Well, I want to ask about something else. You also have a new album. I still call them albums. 17 on Mars. I love the title. And that's a great cover. With this new album, what I don't really like about the way that people listen to music nowadays, it may work for some people, is that it's so fragmented. When an album is put together, I'm sure with yourself as well, there's an arc to the album, just as there's an arc to Anya and Robert's show. There's an arc. When you were creating this album, was there a particular arc that you were looking at as you were putting it together?
I guess there were just, I must clarify, the album is one that I did a few years ago with Dick Gallagher, who was my original musical director. And we were just finding songs that we liked and that sort of told a story about who I was at that point in my life. And, one of the songs on the album is When Irish Eyes Are Smiling, because, hey, my maiden name is Kelly. But also, one of the reactions that I've had over time are that people felt moved, people felt something. And that is all I ever really wanted to accomplish with any kind of music or theater or anything. And it makes me happy. I think Anya was saying that earlier. It makes me, the doing of it, the work on it, the creating it, that is the joy. And then if somebody actually feels a feeling, or I'm just like, that is plenty for me in this go round on the planet, as if somebody has a good experience. That's it. And there's the album. I love the album. 17 on Mars is from a Broadway, well, not a Broadway show, a show that was done in Chicago at the Goodman Theater. And it was written by a composer named Louis Rosen, and his partner was Tom Bishop. And it was actually originally written for a man to sing. And we sort of flipped the lyrics, and it's a great woman's song, I think. And I loved it. I loved it. And there's some other songs on there. There's some others, a mix of things from Broadway and American Standard Songbook stuff. One of the songs is Pennies from Heaven, which I loved. And from that song, I learned a lot about Bing Crosby, who introduced it. And years ago, I did a Bing Crosby tribute, and and that was such a, I mean, all of the music that I have done over the years, similar to what Anya and Robert were saying, is I started with the Great American Songbook. I mean, I just was like going through composers, trying individually, from Gershwin to Birdland to Johnny Mercer to Yip Harburg to the Richard Rodgers, all of those things. That's how I learned the music, the history, the literature. That's where I started from. The show that I'm doing this week is the first time I'm really kind of telling my own story through song. So I've always been shy about that because I didn't think I really had much of a story to tell.
Well,
but we'll see. We'll see.
We're going to bring on our next guest, but before we do, I want to ask you, when it comes to your own success, do you find that the yeses or the nos are the ones that you gravitate towards the most? Which of those, yeses or nos?
In terms of the audience?
In terms of your own success and the choices you make. Do you say yes more, or do you say no more?
I guess I say yes more. I like to, I mean, I'm trying some new things in this show that I've never done before. More contemporary music, more of a little bit more, a couple more that are a little more in the jazz area, which I've never done before. And those were songs that I honestly never thought I could sing. And working on them has been just like great to discover another area, especially because I'm not as young as I started out. Robert can tell you that.
We won't go there. None of us are, but you're still young. So you're going to bring on our next guest. So door number 1 or door number 2?
I guess door number 2.
And she also has a show coming up this week, and she's going to be at the Selma Gundy Club. And I want to tell everyone who is watching, I've seen this show. I saw it twice at the Triad, and her show is, if you love Irving Berlin, and who doesn't, she's absolutely sublime. I'm glad that she's here today. And here she is. Megan Thomas, you made it.
Hello.
I made it. The third computer.
Oh, wow.
Oh, God.
So, Megan, I want to ask you, who or what are you celebrating today?
Me?
Yes.
Well, I'm celebrating a lot of things. I'm going away this weekend to a wedding of a dear friend from the theater who introduced my husband and me to one another. Her daughter's getting married. And then when I come back, I'm going to be celebrating doing this cabaret fundraiser. I'm very happy to be giving, feeling good about giving. I'm Welsh background, and it's for the St. David's Society of New York, which is the Welsh Society of New York. And there are going to be 2 charities. One is for the St. David's Society Scholarship Fund. They give money to young musical performers, young students, and also to the Dylan Thomas Birthplace and Family Home Museum in Swansea, Wales. So those are the 2 charities that money's going to. So I feel that I'm celebrating those things.
So I want to talk about success in the world of cabaret. Obviously, you have a very extensive theater background. And, you know, and all of us that are in this room right now, we can all relate to this. Being in the world of cabaret, for those who don't know, who want to put their toes in the water, it's not just us showing up, singing the songs that we've chosen, putting a show together. There's so many things that go on behind the scenes. And one of the most difficult things that a lot of us struggle with and deal with is that the onus of filling a room is always falling on our shoulders. How are you able, perhaps you've never played to a small house, I don't know, but if you have, how do you navigate those waters to truly make the evening a success beyond the numbers game?
Well, I feel that if you are true to the material and you really are telling a story to the audience, it doesn't really matter big or small. It's intimate no matter what it is, especially with cabaret. I mean, cabaret is fairly new to me. My career has been basically music theater and some straight theater. And it's funny when Robert mentioned the dinner theater in Connecticut, I think you meant Darien Dinner Theater.
There was one of the places, yeah.
Yeah, because I started out, I started to get my equity card there back in the early 80s. I ended up getting it in a national tour. But anyway, you know, that was mostly my career. So cabaret's really relatively new. But I think, to go back to your question, I think if you really are telling people a story, it's not so much about how big or small the audience is. It's being true, and it's almost like children's theater, being true and telling them a story, and then you pull them in.
That's thank you for that. That's absolutely the best way of putting it. It's about the art itself and not the numbers. And I love that. I want to bring on our next guest. We actually saw her at the top of the show. And she is going to be at Birdland on Monday night with her new show, 2025 award winner, Susan Mack. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. This is fun. This is fun.
Well, I hope so. So Susan, you are fairly new to the world of cabaret yourself. Am I correct?
I am new to all of the worlds that you guys are in and to cabaret. Yes, I am. I have a very different story.
Well, do you want to share with us?
It's a long story, so I'll give it to you in a nutshell. I had a career in corporate America and raised children, and then did a bunch of things in the community. I was working at a hospital, vice chairman of the board of a community hospital where we sang. I sang there too. And just all kinds of things. But I always loved singing, and I dabbled in things along the way. I joined an a cappella group once my kids left the house, and one thing led to another. And, the topic, I guess I should save this, but the topic is success. And I thought that was very intriguing because I had my whole career. When I started doing this, it wasn't about fame and fortune. It was about many other things. And I've discovered so many wonderful surprises along the way that are fulfilling and giving back. And so it all started when I read an ad in the newspaper about Helen Baldassari's cabaret workshop. And I was like, oh God, I would love to do that, but I could never get on stage and sing in front of people. Oh. Anyway, long story short, I signed up for the class having no intention of actually getting on stage and singing. I would go there, and then I would be in the audience. And then a lot of people ended up leaving the class, and there were only 3 of us. And I ended up doing it, and I was terrified. And that was how it began. And actually, right before that cabaret workshop, I saw something about a master class with this woman, Marilyn May. I'm embarrassed. I didn't know who she was back then. I just didn't, because I wasn't in this world. And I signed up, and I was terrified. It was the first time I got up in front of people. And she was lovely, and she was encouraging. And she's like, I want to work with you. And I ended up working with her. I did all the master classes, and she directed my first cabaret show. So that's, I had a great teacher, and she pulled me out of my shell and encouraged me. And then I continued. It brought me a lot of joy, and I brought joy to others. And that's it in a nutshell.
Well, it's a great story. I love that. I want to go around, and I want to ask each of you, and I'm going to get back to Anya and Robert to start with. From the time that you first started in this business to where you are at this point in your career, and I can honestly say this, 46, almost 47 years in this business, the business has changed a lot. There have been pluses and minuses in terms of the way that we pursue our work, the way we present our work, all of that. It's constantly changing. what are some of the things that you love that have changed in the industry? And what are some of the things that you miss that are no longer in place? And everybody think about that question.
Oh, dear. Gosh, you know, I've been in the art for a very long time. I don't know that I've ever been in the business. I don't. Do you mean as far as the rooms? There were a lot more rooms when we first started out together, doing, and you could go from one to the other really quickly, and in a year you might even do 3 different rooms or something like that. There are fewer rooms, and in some cases the rooms are large, and if you don't happen to have a huge following, that can be a little daunting, hard to, get up the courage, to take it on. But I think what a lot of what's the same is, what at least for us with cabaret, it's friends. It's the people who know you. It's the people that you are in personal contact with, that you see, or that you go and see, or that you talk to, or at least email. I mean, it's not the public, in the sense of like, oh, I haven't got it. One of the lines that we have in the show that I say to Robert, I turn to him and say, "You see anybody you know?" I mean, this is, please, it's only, he says, "Oh, 1 or 2."
Yeah.
It's only people that we know. I mean, it's always the people that we know. Well, I mean, they bring a friend, we meet someone new. Occasionally, I think
someone will wander
there will
in.
be someone in, and it's lovely, and we meet them afterwards, and they say, "Well, we didn't have any idea but geez, this was a great show," or whatever. So that does happen to me, but for the most part, it's very intimate that way, and that's the same. That's the same as it's always been.
And we kind of, at least this time, we kind of position ourselves around the fringe of things. Like this club, Sid Gold's, first time we've ever played there.
Yeah,
it's got 45 seats.
Yeah,
that's it, 45 seats, and I mean, there's like 8 tables of 6. I mean, that's it.
That's 48, dude.
Well,
I'm kidding.
One is a piano bar. Doesn't quite have 8.
Yeah,
but,
that's true.
Yeah. So we just keep experimenting with the business, so
and
to
venues,
speak.
And maybe even thinking like, where would our friends like to go? What would they like to see? What should it look like? You're just playing. You're playing with it, and playing with the music, and playing with the audience, and who's there. It's joy and love.
That's the name of our show. And
that's what it's about.
And by the way, when we first saw this room, we went, it's all multicolored. You kind of feel like you're in an aquarium or something.
Very mid-century modern.
There's hardly any tech. I mean, it's really interesting little place, and wonderful people in it. And
very nice.
But that determined artistically what material we wanted to do in that room, and we've written like, I don't know, hundreds of songs. Yeah. But we wanted to focus on the more recent ones. But which recent ones?
What would be good here
in that venue, Richard? Because certain things you can pull off. I mean, in certain rooms, and other rooms you most have to write the show for that room that's going to resonate.
Well, you just said something that I wish that a lot of artists would realize. Know the room you're playing to.
Yeah,
it really makes a difference. I mean, you've played a Laurie Beachman. There's a certain height to the ceiling. This room, Sid Gold, has a certain acoustic, that a wooden floor. It's different.
Yeah.
So you walk. The piano's different. So you walk in and you start
and
to
just the
imagine.
vibe, the atmosphere. It's like you have to meet with it, not be opposing it.
Yeah. If you're gonna have any fun,
absolutely,
not be frustrated
or succeed.
Yeah, there we go.
To your point.
Yeah.
Yes, that's great. Maureen, the same question.
I was not able to hear Anya and Robert's response, so I'm hoping I'm not going over the same territory.
No, whatever works for you.
But one of the things that I really love is that there are a lot of younger people, younger than me, doing this work, and that's very exciting. But I also appreciate that being older, it's given more gravitas to what I think that I'm saying and other people are saying as well. And that's exciting. The things that, I mean, the disappointing things are when many years ago, when I first was beginning, there was a lot more coverage in the press for
Yes.
cabaret,
Yeah,
and
that's true.
people reviewed
Yeah.
shows, and whether you agreed with them or not, they helped to support the art form. And I
Yeah.
chose the cabaret form of art because I come from the theater background, and in my mind, cabaret is about telling a story and having somebody feel something or learn something or grow in some way from the start of the performance to the end. And I specifically chose cabaret because I didn't feel like I had a big Broadway voice. I had a voice of I'm really an actress who sings, and the music that I'm interested in tells stories and helps people to grow and feel something by the end of it. So that's why I specifically chose cabaret as an art form and a venue, the area. I'm sorry that, years ago there were many more venues. Dick Gallagher used to always say cabaret venues are like mushrooms. They just keep popping up. They go away, they come away.
They do.
And now I'm
And
very
they still do
They
a
still
little bit more infrequently, but they're still popping up.
Right,
Yeah.
right. The opportunities are changing and they're different. The one thing that I don't really like, the trend in the last few decades, and I guess it's all from television stuff, is these singers who start a song really kind of quiet and then blow it out the end with this big thing at the end. That is nothing. It's just sound to me. It's not a feeling. It's not anchored in something. It's not again, that's what I talk about people singing at people as opposed to singing to people.
But to add to that, there's a reason why most Broadway singers are out of the show 2 or 3 times a week.
Yes.
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 There's no way
No, there isn't.
saying that. And the songwriters, that are writing for them, it's like vocal gymnastics.
Yeah.
It's like, how high can you go and how long can you sustain a sound? It's not necessarily a note, but a sound. And, and I think that it's a huge disservice that singers are not getting the proper training.
Right.
they
And
need.
the sad thing is that the younger people, because they watch these shows are on television, that's what they think singing is. And
Right.
then again, the roots of cabaret to me are telling the story and having something communicated to an audience. And you have to know who your audience is. I am lucky. I have a small audience and a small but loyal group of people that have returned to come and hear me. And that makes, boy, that's success. That's that's enough for this lifetime. But it's because I think that I'm talking to them in some way that they understand and that they feel something about. I hope anyway. And
Well, Susan said
No.
earlier, Susan, working with Marilyn May, Marilyn May. Marilyn May has always said, and I totally agree with her, the audience is the true star of the night.
absolutely.
And if you don't hold on to that, it's why even do this. Megan, same question for you.
Well, I agree wholeheartedly with what Maureen was saying, really, as far as what has changed, because, cabaret is relatively new to me. I couldn't tell you too much about what has changed, but I agree about what you were saying with young people, how they're using their voices and them blowing their voices out. I mean, you have to start with a good technique in order to have longevity.
Mhm.
And to talk about success in the business, what it means to me, success in the business is not about being, I want to be a big star. It's about longevity. Can I continue to work year after year after year and keep creating work for myself and finding who I am at whatever age I am, and be meaningful, not just to myself, but be meaningful to an audience, and get something from whatever higher power I believe in, and have it go through me and give it to an audience. Because like Maureen said, it's not just now I'm going to sing at you and then it's going to gratify me because then I feel like a big star. No, that's not sustainable. What's sustainable is to feel like you've given something to someone, and that's a reward. That's rewarding. That will last a lifetime.
That's great.
That's success to me.
So thank you for that. Susan, you're the new kid on the block. So obviously you've not been around a long time to notice major changes in the business. So I'm going to change the question somewhat with you, and you've given us a sense of this, but what do you think the biggest changes within you as an artist and as an entertainer since that first cabaret show that you did?
Oh, that's an easy question to answer. I am trusting my instincts and trusting myself to just be who I am and not let a director or somebody tell me how to say something or what to say. And it makes a huge difference. I did a show in Nyack last year, and that was an aha moment because I didn't have patter written. I didn't script anything. I took a bunch of, it was at Maureen's.
Bestseller.
It was at,
Which you all should have on your radar.
Wonderful. And
Maureen's
it's about intimate. It's just,
Nyack.
and I knew what I wanted to say about the songs, and it's very intimate. I mean, it's a jazz club, but it's a cabaret setting. It's lovely and intimate. It's a little community. And it was the first time I really just was off the cuff and trusted myself. I had more people that have seen me before comment on, that was the most relaxed, that was the most you have ever performed. And I took that, and that's what I hope to bring to my next show. Just really, giving myself permission to be me, because that's who they're coming to see. And that's what hasn't changed.
Mm-hmm.
What makes cabaret so special is you're connecting to each person like they're in your living room. You can go to a Broadway show and sit in a big audience. You can go to a concert and hear music, but there's nothing like cabaret, where you bring people in and you talk to them, and they're like your friends. And when you leave, if you had a successful show, they feel like they know you. Strangers come up and hug you because they feel like they know you. I love when that happens.
As long as they don't follow you home. That recently happened to Audra McDonald. A fan followed her home. So as long as they don't follow you home. Anya, I want to talk to you for a moment about motivation and what keeps you motivated. And if that motivation ever somehow drops, and if it does, what does Robert do to bring you back into finding your
Oh boy, motivation. Well, the motivation for me, well, first of all, just comes from the love of what we do, and the life that we've created within this field, and how it just is woven inextricably together. So we are, I mean, as we say in one of our songs, you're the pounding of my heart. What motivates me is being there for him. And so, if one of us is a little down, the other picks it up. And the only times that are really hard is if we're both down. Those are the hard times, but that doesn't happen very often. Usually it's one or the other, and the other one is there to say, no, babe, what, I got another idea, or let's do this, or what about that, or talk about one of the great moments, that you've had, and say, what about that? Wasn't that great? And, and everybody just, was having such a great time, like the party that we had on September 16th, which was Robert's birthday as well. I mean, we'll never forget it. It was just, and he's thanked me. So he said, thank you for having the idea to do it on my birthday, to have a birthday party in a cabaret room. We've never done that, and yet how many?
I try to do it every year, believe it or not.
Oh, okay.
That's
It's a great idea, and it's so much fun.
Yes,
it's so much fun,
and it celebrates everyone else's. Well, I want to go, talk about the times that we're living in right now. And I'm not getting political. I want to talk about the, it's an expensive night to go out most of the time, even when your prices are low. I live in Rockland County. We deal with gas and tolls and parking and congestion pricing and all of those things that add to a very expensive night. So, Robert, when you are looking for the venues that you want to play in or the places to be, and you also know very vividly who your audience is at this point, what considerations do you take into place in terms of getting your work out and making it accessible to everyone?
Okay, well, I would call this the $23 special. $15 cover, 2 Diet Cokes, $8, $23 tip. Okay. Other words, this
we do think about that, though.
No, we do. I mean, this is a very unusual place. It's very casual, and because we're doing new material. And speaking of the times we're living in, we do some songs that are about politics. I mean, it's not. It's also, our show is basically about other artists. It's about poets, painters, dancers, actors, musicians who have inspired us. Plus, we thread in some social commentary here and there, just because we're living in this world that you can't ignore that, right? Mm-hmm. So we wanted to have a venue that was truly kind of non-elitist, that was welcomes everyone, because that's the nature of this material. So that's kind of what. So for $23, if you got $23, come down to Sid Gold's and hear 65 minutes of music with a wonderful bass player. We have a Broadway guitarist, John Putnam, sitting in on Tuesday night.
Tuesday, yeah.
This is a very unusual place. We went to hear a country music act there in May, and there was an 8-piece band with a $15 cover. I've never been to a place like that in New York in a long time. So it appealed to us. Kind of, like I say, we kind of work on the fringe because that reflects our point of view. So
I love that. That's great.
Yeah.
Maureen, how do you measure the impact that you feel that you're making on an audience and the impact that you feel that an audience is making on you?
Gosh, I guess, again, the reaction, I because I'm trained as an actor, I feel a vibe that either is leaning in or leaning back. And also people, I mean, I've been very lucky over the years because I've kind of been up and down with all of this. And people write me beautiful things and tell me, unprompted things about what they felt or what they experienced in one of my shows. And that, I guess that's my measure of success. I mean, the audience I have, most of them are returnees, and I feel so grateful for that. And I'm not exactly sure how to measure this or respond to this. There's something that's prompting me to do this show at this time. It's after a bit of time off. And I guess it's because the muse just doesn't go away, and you have to feed it from time to time. And no matter what age you are. And of course, Marilyn May is one of my idols in terms of that. I felt for a while that, oh gosh, I've outgrown the the range of people that do this work. And then you see somebody like Marilyn May and you just are thrilled.
And you realize you're a teenager.
Well, maybe, but anyway, yeah, I go back to, I always just like to sing. I like to sing for people. As Susan said, it's the feeling that you're touching somebody in an audience, whether it's a big audience or a small audience. That's the job, and those are the things I'm interested in. Let me put it that way. And I feel very blessed when people respond. That's all I can say.
That's wonderful. Megan, whose opinion truly counts for you when you're putting a show together? Mentors, collaborators, audiences, your future self, whatever that may be. And how do you weigh all of those voices swirling around you without...
Well, certainly I listen to the audience, but also my music director, Phil Hall, very important. My voice teacher, very important. And my husband, Robert Lydiard, very important. I listen to him. But other than that, somebody like you, I listen to. There are certain people that would come, Leroy Reams. There are certain people that in the audience that are my close people that I listen to. But those are the people that as far as advice and their opinion, I take into consideration. And of course, myself, if I feel, I have to feel comfortable. I have to feel comfortable. If somebody gives me advice, I take it, but then I have to live with it and see what I feel comfortable with.
And I'm going to jump in with something here. Everyone, when you go to see a show and you have opinions about how a performance should be done or not, do not give advice.
No, never.
If you feel that you want to speak with the director of the show, do that, but don't ever, and as artists, don't reach out to me for advice when you have a director, because I have friends who do that as well. Always respect the director. There's a reason why you chose them. Susan, and then we're going to go around, and I've got one last question that I want to ask all of you, but I'm going to give you each a chance to have your final word today. And Susan, is there a particular practice that you put into place every week, either daily or weekly, that leads up to show night?
Is there a practice? You mean in terms of like right before or just?
No, a rehearsal, something that you do every week leading up to showtime.
I don't have a strict practice. I mean, when I'm in like the couple of weeks before, I make sure to vocalize. I make sure to get some form of exercise just because it's good for my brain, even if it's just, a walk. And, but it's very important, mind and body. And I'm very strict with just try to eat clean, no alcohol right now, the vocal cords. I drink a lot of ginger tea with lemon. And those are my kind of physical healthy things. Yeah, no, I hydrating a lot before the fact.
Yeah. Yes.
I just got myself a vocal mist nebulizer. I highly recommend it. It's really, I don't know if it's psychological, if it's real, but I suffer from terrible allergies like this time of year.
Me too.
And it really did a number on my voice. And so I got the nebulizer, maybe 3 weeks ago, and it's like a lifesaver. So those are those practices. And, now I'm trying to kind of run through everything to make sure I'm comfortable. And then I look at the things that don't feel great and why doesn't it feel good? And maybe there's something, a lot of it is I'm not connecting. And then I'll call, one of my coaches for help. Like, this felt great last week. What's going on? And usually it's just a very little thing. It's usually in your connection, what you're thinking about, and it fixes itself. It's always like a miracle to me. It's like magic. There are a couple of people who are my go-tos for that.
Wow. Well, first of all, I want to thank all of you for being here today. I really get so much out of all of my guests on the show. So thank you all for being here. As I said, I'm going to give you each a chance to have your final word. I will pick one of you or two of you, and then when you finish with what you have to say, it could be about what we spoke about today that you want to build upon, something we didn't talk about that you wish we had, or just any final message you want to leave everyone with before the show ends. It's your moment. And when you finish, you will pick the next person, and then so on and so on. And when the last person says goodbye, I will end the show, so you don't have to worry about it. How do I get out of here? I'll take care of that. But I think of these shows as a poo-poo platter. And whether you go see all of them or whether everyone watching will pick one show that you will go see this week, get out of the house. There's nothing like sitting in an audience and sharing in the experience of great music with like-minded people. I believe wholeheartedly that if everybody began every day with a show tune or a song, there'd be no strife in this world. And I really do believe that, because music is the one thing that brings us together, and it's the one healer that we all have in common. I end all my shows with the same message, and that is to go out and do something nice for somebody else without expecting anything in return. Now, I'm going to ask each and every one of you to do this task, and I want you to report back to me. I want you to go to your contacts list in your phone, and I want you to reach out to the sixth name that pops up. And I want you to reach out with a phone call. Not an email message, not a text message, not a private inbox message, but a phone call. And let that person know that they matter in your life. And by doing so, you're going to make a big difference in their life. It's important that we all, especially now, are more connected than ever. I have a dear friend, Sean Moniger, and Sean Moniger says we're all in the same storm in different size boats. And I always say, I don't care what size boat you're on, as long as you have a skipper by your side. And with that, I'm going to leave. I'm turning it over to you, Anya and Robert. And when you finish, you will pick the next person. And I'll see you all next week. Goodbye.
Thank you.
Wow. Well, this has just been so much fun, just to be with all of you, Maureen, Karen, Megan, and to hear your stories and just I just relate so much to the points that you've made about the art and about yourself in it, and just the main thing that I got was there's just so much love. There's so much love, and I think that's the main thing. I think that's what we bring, and I think that's what the audience gives back. And there's like this vibe, and it's just love. It's just all about the love of it, and the love of making the music, the love of hearing the music, the love of being together in a room, and having the same experience simultaneously. There's just nothing like it. And I totally agree with Richard on that. You know, you can't get that in any other way. There's no other even art form that's quite like the cabaret setting, and just the variety of what you can get. I mean, all of the shows right here that we were just talking about, they're all so different. And that's exciting. That's exciting to me. Robert.
No, it's great. It's great. And so what I want to add, just one thing. Like I was trying to explain, when we were putting the show together, we were trying to picture what world are we going to be living in September and October and November. And that's how we were very conscious of that, because we like to try to musically represent the zeitgeist, you know, like the spirit of the times, what's going on now. So that's what we try to give our audience, and to interact on that level. That's what's going on right now. Because I mean, we're all living in a very complicated world, and that's why we called it Joy and Love, because we figured, well, let's make sure it centers on that, because we're all going to be needing a lot of joy and love this fall. That was our take. So, Susan? Why don't you take it?
Okay. Well, I guess my comments, well, I agree. It's just been really wonderful to meet everyone and hear your stories. And my message to the people, if anybody's watching this, I kind of grew up with this magnet in my room and I brought it everywhere, and it's still on my board. And it's just that it's never too late to be what you might have been, or what's inside of you that you never really tapped into. And when you do that, you're going to give other people permission to do the same. And that's one of the joys that I've had, is after shows or people coming to me and telling me how much I inspired them. And then they go and do the thing it is, that be it pottery or painting. So many people have told me that, and that really makes me feel good. So go do whatever it is that you've been putting off, or the things that you really want to do. And I hand it off to Maureen.
Thank you. Oh my goodness. I don't know if I have anything earth-shattering to say, but all of this is a collaboration, and I have been really blessed to work with a lot of really lovely people, and I've grown through them, and I'm grateful for it. Yes, I think just what Susan has said is so true. If I do this, it's like dropping a pebble in a water, and it just has an effect to everyone around me. And people tell me that they tried things or thought about something in a different way and felt changed, and that makes me happy. And again, the best part of doing this work is that it's the work itself, it's organic, and it touches people, and that's all I could ever really hope for. Anyway, Megan, you go for it.
Thank you. Wow, am I glad that my third computer worked and I was able to get on and be here with these lovely people. Everybody was different and everybody was interesting. And thank you, Richard. That was fabulous. So interesting. And my show is about Irving Berlin music, which is lovely. But the reason I love Irving Berlin's music is because he spoke to everyone, high class people, working people, everyone, because we're all different, just like everyone who was on this show. We're all different. And that's why I enjoy his music. So if you're available on October 17th to go to the Salmagundi Club at 6:30, it's free admission. You just have to give a donation. But the cabaret world is a wonderful world where you can see all kinds of music and all kinds of entertainment and have a lovely, lovely, meaningful time. So go see a cabaret. Thank you so much, Richard. It was wonderful.